Society Asia podcast. Today I am with James Chua. James is part of the Singapore chapter. So I'm really excited to introduce you to James because I've been working with him for a while. James, I think we met the first time it was at the Philippines conference, right?
Correct. Yeah, last
Yeah,
November.
last
Mm.
November, right. Him and some of the other team came to the Philippines conference, and maybe we'll have him, talk a little bit about that and what he thought about the conference. Um, so, anyways, James, I wanted to talk to you for a couple of reasons. One, because you're a key person in our conference we're going to have coming up for the BYU Management Society in Singapore, November 8th to 9th. You're one of the key people working on that, and also that you attended BYU and your education was at BYU, and yet you went home to Singapore. So, many of the people that are at BYU, a lot of them think like, oh, I need to stay in America to be successful. I don't want to go home to my own countries, but you went home. So I want you to, just introduce a little bit about what you did at BYU, because I think you even have a PhD, so we call you Dr. James. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your education and a little bit about your decision to come back to Singapore and what that's meant for you in your life, and maybe looking back on your life, how that decision has impacted it, and the life of your family too, I guess. So, anyways, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that.
Okay, sure. Uh, so Anita, I've been in the church since 1982, 40 years now. So the gospel, the church has blessed my life tremendously. So as you said, I studied at BYU. In fact, I got all my degrees from BYU. I feel it's a very, very unique, very special university. Uh, it has a very unique blend of spiritual and secular learning. You know, Looking back, I was there for almost 12 years studying and working. So looking back, I feel as if I was on hallowed grounds. And then every Tuesday there's a devotional live. And then of course through the media, library center, or the professors and students there. It was as if we were learning from the feet of the prophets, and his apostles. So for me,
You literally are,
having
because James, I think you literally could say you literally are, because the devotionals, you are learning at the feet of the prophets, right?
yes, to those devotionals and professors and colleagues, I was able to deepen my testimony, you know, deepen my conversion. And also because of that, I feel that we all have, the quote goes that we all have drunk from wells we have not dug. We have been warmed by fires we have not kindled. So so to me now I feel very blessed, humble, full of gratitude, and it's a bit of a pay forward time, or to serve more fully. Now, anytime to come to your point, on the decision to going back home and things like that, to be very, very honest, at the end of the day, is something between the Lord and the individual. Uh, I love what my mother say. My mother told me that, say, wherever you are, as long as you are happy, that's the most important thing. As long as you feel at peace with yourself and with your God. I think that was a very wise comment from my non-member mother. Oh, and so to me, coming back, at first I did think of staying in US. I got two sisters living in Hawaii. But then later on, somehow the Lord has his own way, of making things happen. So I'm very happy to be in Singapore. It's a wonderful place, a little bit too humid, but nevertheless, wonderful.
Great, that's wonderful, wonderful. So, what did you study at BYU? Just why don't you talk a little bit about what you actually studied and what you did for your career, because I think
Okay.
that's quite interesting for people to know and understand.
Oh, okay, sure. Again, I'm very humbled, very blessed by the blessings BYU has afforded me. So I did my bachelor's in psychology. Uh, and then after that, I did a master's in experimental psychology, focusing on research methods, data analysis. Then I got to know a friend, a professor in the Marriott School of Management. So I took a master's in organizational behavior, MOB, So I'm very fortunate to have wonderful professors like Jin Dalton. At one time, Stephen Covey was a professor there also. Gib Dyer, Chris Mick, Warner Woodworth, and they were all wonderful, wonderful professors, lecturers, coach, and spiritual leaders, I would say. Then I wanted to go home, you know. Then my wife, at that time, girlfriend, wanted to come. I thought, hey, what better way to get her to know the gospel than to bring her to BYU? you know. So she came to study her bachelor and the MBA. So my professors advised me to take a PhD, while I was there in organizational psychology. So Dr. Stimson, Gary Bunker, Professor Stimson, yes, and Paul Robinson. They were wonderful, wonderful professors, including Jim Dalton, Chris Mick, Warner Woodworth, not the whole group of professors. So I feel very indebted to BYU, having used up so much of the tithing money, you know. So I think I say it's a payback time to try to serve and give back more fully. And uh, and uh, and the degrees from BYU were very
Yeah.
well recognized worldwide. So
Wow.
I was quite fortunate to get my first job in Anderson Consulting as a change management senior consultant. I'm not boasting, but I'm just sharing. The degree, the status that BYU degree has. Even though we are not Ivy League, we will never be. So I got into HP Compact, and then Microsoft was a wonderful experience. After that, I went to healthcare. Went to Tyco Healthcare, Covidien, Medtronic, and also I worked for IBM, and then most recently Thermo Fisher also. Yeah. So I think the BYU degree helped open many doors. But actually, I feel the degree is only a passport, or the degree will help to open doors. But ultimately, it's the work performance, and our attitude towards our fellow men, fellow workers. Yeah.
You call yourself sort of a change management expert. Is that kind of what you are?
Uh, I hate to use the word expert, but I like to see myself as a practitioner. And I feel that learning is never ending. Or some people say learning is lifelong. I disagree with that. Uh, I feel that learning is eternal, actually, according to the scriptures that we know to be true. So it's not just lifelong, but it's into the eternities. So learning is a wonderful experience. The more we know, I think the more I know, the more I realize I do not know. You know, so that's
Shown that people that are successful have this attitude of lifelong learning, which is one of the things about BYU Management Society that I like and appreciate so much. And I guess that kind of gets us into our next point we've been talking about, which is the Launching Leaders program, which you've been involved with. And as anyone that's been listening here knows, it's one of our cores for for the BYU Management Society and also for in Asia. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your feelings on the Launching Leaders program, and why you feel that it works. I guess I'd like to have your sort of expertise on why do you feel this program works as well as it works around the world. It's really a program that's been able to bridge all cultures, all people, and I have some of my thoughts on that, but I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are.
yes. Thanks, Anita. Regarding the Launching Leaders program, I could know this program only about last year. I wish I knew this program about 20, 30 years ago. I got to know this program to Anita. I was serving in the MS Management Society Singapore chapter. So Anita, I was kind of appointed to find out more about this program and how we can bring it into Singapore. So got to know this program to Anita, who connected us to Chad Hammer. I think he's one of the many facilitators doing this. Chad is a wonderful, wonderful man. Oh, uh, he has conducted more than 80 plus sessions of launching leader across the world, I would say, Africa, Asia, Europe, uh, Philippines, Taiwan, Singapore. So we are very fortunate to have him. And Chad would be very happy if I were to, before I go further, if I were to summarize what launching leaders is, in 30 seconds. So basically, launching leaders is principle based. It invites us to take a look at our own life in four or the three key areas. What do we want to work on? What are the priorities that we want to focus on? So that's step one. Step two is the Lord is very kind, and of course the Lord, I mean Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ also. Okay, so the Lord is our God is very kind. He doesn't expect us to go through this life alone. So from time to time, based on our needs and challenges, stages of life, He sends different people to touch us in different ways. Sometimes in ways that we like, sometimes in ways that we don't like. Okay. So basically, it's having defined the areas and focus on the three areas, we find a suitable mentor. All right. And then finding a mentor, we set goals, and Chet advised us that the goals to be very specific, very focused, so that we can chart our course and measure our progress. And then the last step is basically to live in such a way so as to allow things to happen. In the formula, it contains a set of 6 key habits that we need to act on, in order to bring our goals to fruition. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is the launching leaders. One thing I find launching leaders is that, like Anita said, it cuts across all religions, regardless of what religion we are, or even if you have no religion, even if you're an atheist or no God, that's fine. We can appeal to their conscience. It also cuts across all races and all stages of life and all stations of life. In a way, it's like a gospel. It's open to all. His hands are open and all is welcoming. Okay, and then also one thing I like about launching leader is that it forces us to reflect, do introspection on where we are, where we want to go, and we can make it into bit sizes. The next 30 years, could be the next 3 months, 6 months, 3 years, 6 years. It's up to us. So I feel that it's very helpful for people across all stages in life. For a young teenager, for young adult planning for education, for a missionary or preparing for missionaries in the field, and when the missionaries come back, people starting new families, young parents, elderly also, taking care of their grandparents, and even if you are 90 or 100 years old, President Nelson will be 100 years old in a few days' time, or one day in September 9, if I'm not wrong, Anyway, so anytime what we did is in Singapore chapter, as a committee, under your guidance, with and Chet's guidance, Joel Chen is our president. There's also AC Ho, Regine, Alan, Douglas, Pauline, and the whole gang. We map out a 3-year plan for launching leaders in Singapore. So basically, the plan is the first year we try to launch about three cohorts, and we try to get a group of very small facilitators who are able and interested, because we know Chet in the coming months and years will be super, super busy in geometric progression. So it's wise of us, and thanks to Chet for his generosity. We have a small group of facilitators. All right. And then just want to share, Singapore is very small. Our population is only 5 million. We are one state, O-N-E, uno, one state. Compared to the Philippines, which has 200 plus states and a population of 115 millions. That's almost 25 times larger than us. However, we know that even though a country may be small, we know that our Heavenly Father and the Lord loves each and every one of us. Singapore may be small, but we know it's still important to the Lord. And like what President Nelson said, every sheep counts, and it's precious to the Lord. So this is the plan that we have for Singapore. Year two, I'll finish in 30 seconds in this. Year two, we plan to integrate launching leaders more fully into other church programs to strengthen existing members, deepen conversion. And then the third year is more of an outreach to other faith, interfaith outreach. Yeah, thank you.
That's some great plans. I feel like one
Sure.
of the reasons why launching leaders works is because people helping people. One of the things that really struck me when I was listening into the class and watching how Chet and Regina facilitated was they never gave people like advice. They never said, you need to do this, or you must do this, or you must do that. Instead, it was people sort of giving themselves their own advice. And I think that's one of the great beauties of the program. It's a program where it sort of helps people to come to the conclusions on their own. I don't know whether you've noticed that or not, or picked that up as part of the program. And I think it's one of the reasons why it makes it powerful, because it's kind of like people helping people. It's,
Yes, Anita, I
you
think you
know,
hit the nail on the head, huh? Mm. I One thing I really love of the program is when we all share our experiences, testimony in a spirit of kindness and a supportive in a supportive environment. I felt very strongly the spirit. In fact, almost every session. To me, that's a huge plus. And also, like you said, there's no directive coaching. You know, it's more of a reflection. People share. You know, and 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 once in a while, Chet will come in with his fatherly, benevolent, sharing. He's not directive, or oh, you should do A, B, C, D. Yeah. So I see a lot of what we call supportive coaching rather than directive coaching going on. And when people open up to one another, somehow there's a bond that builds. Hmm. Anytime, if I may share two more points very quickly,
right ahead. Yeah.
Launching Leader, as you know, is a personal development program, right? One observation I've had is I see a range of uh, responses, at the end of the session. Some people love it. Some people find it's okay. Some people find that it's not of much value, to be honest. But then one thing I learned is that you take out what you put in, as in most program in life,
Yeah.
garbage in, garbage out, huh? You know the story, the two men looked out from the same window. One saw the moon, the stars, the celestial bodies, and the other saw the mud, on the ground. Uh,
Right.
so so if I may close, I would say that launching leader is a very practical uh, gospel supporting program for all ages, all religions, all stages of life. Young teens, young adults, young professionals, seasoned professionals, seniors, elderly, all races, all religion, and non-religion too. And I feel it's not a one-time deal. It's good to review it quarterly, semi-annually, annually, depending on one's pace of life. Yeah. Mm.
I agree completely. And what you put into it, you get out of it, right? And I think that's why some people come out disappointed, because they want someone to tell them, here's what you need to do in life. And launching leaders doesn't do that. Launching leaders helps
Mm.
you figure it out on your own.
Yes, the
And that's
spirit will guide
the
us.
guide.
Mm.
Yeah, will guide us, right? And that's one of the great beauties of the program itself. I think here now a bit in I wanted the next thing I wanted to talk about or touch on a bit is, without giving too much away, I know you've been working on some surveys for the Singapore conference, and you're not finished with it yet, but what's been some of your general takeaways and things that people are sort of interested in? And just tell us a little bit about the conference and how you see the conference shaping up, and things like that. And by the way, just to remind everybody, the conference is November 8th and 9th. It will be virtual and in person. If you're in Singapore, we'd love to have you join us. If you are not able to come to Singapore, don't worry. It will be virtual. You can join us virtually, and we'll also put it onto our YouTube channel. So there'll be lots of ways you'll be able to watch it and be able to watch the speakers. So I just wanted to hear, your thoughts on the conference, and just so people know a little bit about kind of what to expect.
Sure.
And
Anytime.
maybe while you're there, maybe the first question we can talk about is, you attended the Philippines conference, and what did you think about that conference last year? Because you attended that, right? Um, and then tell us a bit about the Singapore one.
Sure, sure. Mm. So Anita, planning for the conference has been a very, very exciting part of my life this year. Thanks to your guidance, and also to Chad, you representing the BYU MS Global Board, you and Chad, and also I think our president, chapter president Joel, has been a wonderful president. He has been very open, and very, very humble and open to other ideas, and so and also I would say special thanks to the team, AC Ho, fantastic guy, Alan, our secretary, and also Douglas and Pauline and the whole gang. Now, coming to your question, I think uh, it was a blessing to attend the conference in Philippines last November. Kudos to the Filipino team as well as to all who supported them. It was a wonderful conference. We ended with a very, very high note. And then, in fact, AC and I, we are the business plan judges also, and we had a lot of fun, you know. So now we are hoping to learn from what we have learned from the Philippine conference, and also the most recently conducted virtual Taiwan conference also, you know. So we have learned a lot from them on what to do and what to be careful of. Yeah, and uh, and so Singapore, we are very fortunate to host a conference this year. uh, we have been talking about this for the past 4 months, but as you know, for most committee and projects, the first 3 months is more of just discussion, and now in this week, especially last week and this week, I feel we've geared up a lot. But we are trying to connect all the dots, namely to confirm what the audience. Oh, this year, what we have learned from Taiwan and Philippines is that rather than just inviting them, we are going to do an outreach first, meaning we are going to reach out to the potential audience, members and non-members alike. We are trying to find out what are their challenges, what are the key issues they are facing in life. All right. So based on that, we are going to ask them to share, hey, if these are the issues and challenges you face, what are the topics you like to see, you like to hear, you like to feel in a conference. So thanks to Anita, our survey has been, we worked through this. Anita reached out to the stake president, and Joel, we reach out, and the team, we reach out to all the wards, you know. So there's a lot of traction in terms of stakeholder engagement. So far, we have gotten about close to 40 respondents already over 4 days. We hope to get a bigger sample. So, Anita, for us in Singapore, the conference is an opportunity for us for the ward to get to know one another better, uh, and also for the state for the different ward members to get to know one another better, and also to know the regional members also from Philippines, Taiwan, Mongolia, Taiwan and Hong Kong, and and then also to get to know the global leaders also. So in a way, we see this a bit like a mini education week that we have annually in BYU Provo. Not on such a large scale, but it's much smaller scale. All right. So again, I just summarize quickly. So you you benefit individuals, what stakes, regional, international level, networking, learning to have fun, make new friends, how to reflect, have fun. Okay. And then it's not a one-off thing, because we hope to engage these people again next year when it's held in Taiwan. For those of us who can, we should plan to go Taiwan. But again, there's always thanks to Anita, there's always a Zoom opportunity. So actually, our end goal of this conference is actually to deepen conversion, bring more people unto Christ, like what we do in Sunday school and all the other meetings. However, this is couched in a secular environment. We don't preach the gospel or go proselyting. But nevertheless, I feel that whenever there's anything to do with BYU, we cannot extract it away from the spiritual dimensions. you know. So yeah, so basically, now that's what I would like to share about the conference. So we are very thankful for Anita, for Chad, and for all the other BYU leaders, the alumni leader, BYU president, and all the many leaders who are coming and who are supporting this event in one way or another.
Yes, and the part of it with the conference is it's about personal development, professional development, moral and ethical leadership. which couches in with what you were saying, right, about the spiritual and the secular, and that BYU is it's a church university, so we bear the church's name with the university. When we talk about the BYU Management Society, but yet at the same time, we welcome all. Everybody's welcome. Everyone that believes in personal development, professional development, moral and ethical leadership. If you're not a member of the church, we welcome you to join with us. We welcome you to be part of us. And don't worry, we're not gonna force you to convert or anything like that. We just want you to join with us. And I think that's what we're welcome to all, right? So I think that's the essence of one of the great things about the BYU Management Society. It's for everyone. It's for old, it's for young, it's for church members, not church members. It's for BYU graduates, non-BYU graduates. You don't even have to have graduated from anything.
Yeah, anytime, if I may add to that,
Yeah,
I really like what you said, For us, we personally feel that this event is for all, members or non-members. In the survey, we put down member or non-member, but Regine Chen, who is our president-elect, Singapore chapter, she said, hey, why don't we call it member? Why don't we call it member and friends of the church? No? So,
absolutely.
yes.
And a group that I'd really like to see attend is the Pathway group. Those that are studying pathways. I mean, we welcome you. We want you to be part of the BYU Management Society. So I hope that the Pathway group will join with us too. And on all of those that are studying pathways. So I love it. I love Friends of the Church. That's a great that's a great way to put it. We're members of the church and friends of the church.
Thanks to Regine. Anytime, if I may add on to your point to support what you just said, we hope that over the years, this conference will be more fully integrated with the other programs in the church, like seminaries and institute, the Days of Girls, BYU Pathways, and all the missionary groups that we have. I think that'll be fun, Because according to BYU, the world is our campus, right?
Right. And I just want to mention something little, put a plug in for Days for Girls, which is not an LDS charity. It's not a church charity, but it is a charity that many members of the church are involved in. I think you could call it like that, right? And they're going to be our official charity for the conference. So I think that that's really exciting that we sort of have a charity, right? Is that correct? Days for Girls will be. We hope to get their participation with us, and they do if you want to look them up, check out their website, see what they do. They're really a great organization that is helping women and girls around the world. And so we feel honored that they're doing so much work there in Singapore that we look forward to having them join with us. Right?
Yes. So according to our plan, in the third year, we'll do more of interfaith outreach. That'll be exciting.
That will be exciting, right? Well, James, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today to talk to us with our podcast and just introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little bit about Launching Leaders and your perspective, and also the upcoming BYU MS conference, which again, let me just repeat again, it's November 8th and 9th. If you're in Singapore, love to have you join with us. It's free. Don't need to pay anything. There'll be lots of good food too. And there's going to be some gifts and giveaways if that excites you. And also too, there'll be a virtual conference too. So we really invite you all to join with us and be part of us and to be part of this great conference that BYU is putting on. We're outreaching to the world. Just so you know, we have a couple visitors coming from overseas. We have quite a few coming from the Philippines. We have some coming from Taiwan. I live in Vietnam, even though I'm American. We have some people coming from London, England, and we have some people coming from BYU in the United States. There'll be 2 students there, one who is American Chinese, was raised in China, and another one who's from Africa. So we're going to have a real contingent of people from all over the world. This really is an international conference, which I think is fabulous because Singapore is an international city. It's a city that has many nationalities in it, traditionally, right? So this is a city where everyone is welcome. This is a conference where everyone's welcome of any faith, any religion, any culture, any people, and we will be having visitors from all over the world. So I think that's really exciting. It's really, I think it's exciting that we're doing this in a conference in a place like Singapore, which really truly is a melting pot for the world. Is that fair to say that or not?
Yes, yes. And Singapore
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
fine city. Yes.
It's a fine city. It's a melting pot for the world, right? So, James, thank you so much for your spending time to talk to us on this, and we really do appreciate you today joining our podcast and letting us, interview you and talk more about this. Thank you so much. Do you have anything in closing you'd like to say to our audience?
Uh, just wanted to say that do join us if you can. Singapore is a relatively safe and clean city, pretty efficient. But most of all, we should come and feel of the spirit together as a conference group. Thank you.